What's going on there, folks? Good early Monday morning. Earthmaster here, checking in on the live stream here. April 5th is the date, 2021, about 6:25 a.m. my time, and quite a bit of earthquake activity taking place this morning in the Southern California range. Quite a bit of earthquake activity. And let me tell you, we haven't seen this type of movement down in the LA area in quite some time. This is all apparently stemming from a 4.0 magnitude quake. There was a few quakes popping off prior to that 4.0. Apparently they're calling those foreshocks now, according to Dr. Lucy Jones. There was a 3.3, 2.5, looks like a 1.8 as well. A little bit of microquake activity prior to all this event on yesterday, but most of this activity occurring recently, early this morning, just a couple hours ago or so. All this, they always claim an earthquake as a foreshock, to something. If we were to see a bigger quake here in this region, they would say all this activity is foreshocks to that. So we don't know exactly 100% if this is any good news, or if that's it. The 4.0 is the main quake, and all we're dealing with is aftershocks. Either way, some heightened earthquake activity out here in the LA area. Last night we did see some movement over here to the east towards the San Andreas Fault. Most of this activity occurring right after this 5.4 that struck down there off the tip of Baja California Sur region. Just right here on this little area, this little fracture zone here. That's when we've seen the major movement pick up here in various areas to the north here along the west coast. But this here is something kind of crazy. I don't know if we really want to see all this movement around this region, and it's really not specifically spanned or concentrated in one spot. Yes, the majority of the swarming may be, but we're looking at areas to the north, some in the south, also around the South Pasadena area. So movement all over the LA basin area this morning. Something to be on guard about today for sure, with the heightened earthquake activity over the west coast over the past couple days. Definitely be on guard if you're down there in the LA area. So what do we got? In total, roughly about 40 earthquakes or so. So far, the largest one has been that 4.0. We cannot rule out the possibility of a bigger earthquake in that region. It wouldn't be good to just say, okay, guys, that's it. We're done. That's all we're gonna get, and those are just all little microquake aftershocks, and you're good to go. Enjoy your Monday. Can't really do that. You need to be prepared, because the possibility of a much larger quake always exists when we're looking at this type of earthquake activity and swarming in the LA area. Los Angeles, Southern California region is a very complex system of many faults that we know about, and many that we don't know about. So it's something to be alert about today. Be on guard. Quite a few folks reported feeling it. Some light shaking out there. The depth of this earthquake, once again, somewhat deep. We did see some deeper movement. Let me show you that real quick here, folks. That other earthquake I was talking about over here around the San Andreas Fault system was a little on the deeper side there near Beaumont. That's this region right here. That one was a 3.4. This one occurred very soon after that 5.4 off the coast of Baja California yesterday. This was a deep one as well, 3.4, 13.7 kilometers below surface, very close to the San Andreas Fault. We've seen some little further movement up here to the north, San Bernardino region. That one, little microquake. That one deep as well, 22 kilometers. A little bit of movement up here to the north, 9 kilometers or so. Either way, we've seen a little heightened earthquake activity there in the deep range. The 4.4 that struck. Hold on a second here. Let me get rid of that. 4.0, I should say, that struck. We haven't seen a 4.4 yet, right? struck at about 19 kilometers below surface. That's pretty deep for this area of California and these complex faults. Something's brewing down there for sure, and I don't think necessarily that's good news for the potential surface rupture possibilities here soon. And many folks reported feeling it. Of course, highly populated regions will feel anything, they can feel a 2.5 or 3.0. So we're looking at these depths right here over the last 24 hours. They range from, you got one here in Lenox area at 25 kilometers below surface. Most of them right around, that's pretty deep. Pretty deep movement there. Most of this activity is deep. There's one there, Willowbrook, outside of the region, seeing a surface quaking at about 1 kilometer or so. On average, we see. Most of the earthquake activity I see down there runs between 5 and 7 kilometers below surface. So to see this deeper movement tells me that something's brewing and potentially could possibly trigger something on the a little bit on the larger size there. It's not definitely not fear mongering, but we're kind of looking at some facts, looking at today's movement, this morning's movement. It's very concerning is the word I should put out there. There's another little bit smaller one, 4.7 away from there. So we're seeing more shallower quakes away from the main swarming area. Just got to be on guard out there this morning, folks. It's kind of a little bit more active than days past, I should say, in this specific region of Los Angeles. Looking up here to the north, real quick, we've seen further heightened earthquake activity up here. A little bit of activity along the Cascadia. Another deep earthquake there that's occurring this morning as well. There's that further deep movement, 19.6 kilometers below the surface, just a 2.4. But you can't just ignore these smaller quakes because the depth of these are what's telling us that something's getting under some pressure down below. It's not only at the surface, but it's also down below. That's where we need to kind of look for clues at. Northern Sacramento Valley, this was, when was this? This is way earlier, 2.2, and a little earthquake up here by me, near Hamilton City, that occurred just a short time ago as well. And of course, yesterday we've seen some activity up here around Mount Lassen area, a couple small microquakes right around the peak, around the summit area. That's even more concerning. That's all we need, volcanoes blowing off here in California as well. So not going to go outside of California too much. We did cover a lot of that activity yesterday. We talked about how when we see a lot of the lack of earthquake activity along the western Pacific Rim over here, that's when we look for stress buildup, heightened earthquake activity along the west coast. And that's still ringing true today. Japan, south of Tokyo, only seen a couple small earthquakes there, and I do not consider that a major release of pressure and a clear zone for the west coast. I just don't see that. So it looks like today, we got to be on guard out here along the west coast for potential further movement. Yeah, a little bit of earthquake activity down there in New Zealand. I shouldn't say a little earthquake, but a little bit of uptick in earthquake activity down there. A 6.0 earthquake there. USGS has this 19 or 193 kilometers northeast of Gisborne. Is that right? Yeah, that's kind of closer to the Hikurangi subduction zone as well. That's a little area down there off New Zealand. North Island region that's very capable of producing a much larger magnitude. That subduction area is no joke. Got to watch that area as well. But I think today, West Coast on target, folks. We got to watch this swarming. Just be prepared. Make sure you download earthquake apps onto your phone. I know they are testing out that early warning earthquake system. You can look it up on your phone on the apps. I have that on my phone as well. I can't remember the specific name of the earthquake app because I have so many on my phone. But just go into Google and type in earthquake early warning app. Make sure you download the official one from the store, not from somebody else's website. It might be a good day to have it. If you don't have that already, just be on guard out there, folks. Heightened earthquake activity. All those red circles there indicating earthquake activity within the last hour. So it's kind of turning into a swarm. But earthquakes in California, when you get sometimes you get a 4.0, they do trigger a massive amount of aftershocks. But it could always, not saying it's going to, but it could always turn into something much bigger, not only around the swarming area, but in other areas that may be potentially building up or have been building up a lot of strain over many years. So be on guard, folks, especially if you live in Southern California, West Coast region. I'm going to jump off here, folks, to a little bit more monitoring here, and we'll get back to you a little bit later after I get some much needed caffeine into my system. Stay safe, folks.